Oh. Lies, deception.
Is the only thing that you seem
over and over.
And you thought that you'd be safe in your tower.
Yeah.
Isolated from the people below.
Yeah, but your foundation.
The truth has undermined your foundation.
Ooh.
By so many people now.
We're finding out.
You thought that you'd see the day that you could just get away.
From the ones you've betrayed, who've raised their voices to say you won't be trusted anymore. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great big beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Wednesday, hump day, don't be a chump and crump day version of the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist. WTF with the facts, or the best that I can figure out what the facts are. It's really hard to do these days. We don't know what the heck is going on because the media is flaming lying to us about everything. I was going to say damn near everything, but no. It's everything. And I tell you, right off the bat, I'm going to ask you, when you watch the news, if you want to know if they're telling the truth, if you want to know if they're on your side, all you got to do is watch the advertising. Yeah, watch the commercials. And if they're advertising all kinds of big pharma products, you know, those commercials for this drug or that drug, you know, if you got shingles, if you got itchy eyes, you got this, you got that. And then they go into the disclaimer, well, if you could, you could have, all these problems and you could die and you could have this or you could have that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the bottom line here is that if they're advertising for big pharma, they're bought off, okay? And you could see that not just, of course, through all the alphabet network news media outlets, but of course there's CNN and Fox and, MSNBC and Newsmax, OAN. I am so disappointed in OAN. 5 or 10 years ago when they were getting started, they were doing the right job. They really were. But now they're towing the party line. And you could tell again by their commercials, especially the commercials promoting Charlie Kirk's book, which it wasn't written by Charlie Kirk. It's being pushed by, of course, Erica and the TPUSA group, and they're just dirty as hell. They're just filthy. There's so much coming out about TPUSA, so much coming out about Erica Kirk. If you folks are part of the TPUSA chapters, you need to take a step back real quick because they're not your friends. Anyway. Oh, where do we start today? Well, of course, the deadline came and went last night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. They were going to bomb Iran into the Stone Age. They were going to destroy an entire civilization. Well, yeah, okay, they came to some sort of an agreement right before the deadline. And, okay, we're going to get into what the conditions are momentarily here. But unfortunately, Israel has their own plans. As far as the ceasefire is concerned, yeah, okay, fine, but we're going to still bomb Lebanon, which is going on as we speak. All right? Everybody's seeing Israel for what they are now. As a matter of fact, their cabinet now is I've got a clip here I'll get to in a little while of one of the ministers basically calling out Netanyahu. Say, you are an absolute failure, a disgrace. You have brought destruction upon us. And it's still interesting that you're not seeing any video on the mainstream networks about what has happened in Tel Aviv. No, there are some videos that are leaking out because they're blocking everything. They don't want the world to see what has happened to Tel Aviv or any of the other areas that have been bombed. They don't want you to see it. No. But there are videos leaking out, and Tel Aviv has just been blasted. I don't know how they still even have electricity, if they do in some areas. But the bottom line here is that, yeah, the media is flat out lying to you everywhere, and they're so good at it. Well, actually, I should take that back. They're not all that good at it. It's all, thanks to independent media and the legions of independent researchers that are posting on social media, whether it be Instagram or TikTok or X or Facebook. And by the way, Facebook, if you're still messing with Facebook, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm not messing with Facebook anymore. I might go there just to take a look to see what's posted. And to be honest, a lot of people are posting a lot of truthful stuff on Facebook. But Facebook is evil. Yeah. It's Zuckerberg. And for those of you who keep thinking that, Trump's going to drain the swamp, I don't know. I mean, how could he possibly be draining the swamp when the perpetrators of the whole COVID thing and the election fraud thing and all the other crap that went on for the past 10 years, we know who was involved with it. What was it, last fall or something? Trump gave Albert Bourla $40 billion, and he's giving Zuckerberg a new position. I mean, he's going after the rats. He's doing business with the swamp. So I don't know. I keep vacillating back and forth. Is Trump a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he part of the swamp? Or is this some sort of a 5D chess thing? Yeah. Oh, okay. 5D chess. Here we go again. Anyway, I don't know. I'm still trying to sort it out, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't know the answers. I don't know what's up, what's down, and maybe that's the whole point. They want everybody standing up in a hammock with roller skates on, juggling chainsaws. So you don't know what is true. But that's biblical, It says even the elect will be deceived. So anyway, okay. Let's get into this whole ceasefire agreement, of course, that Israel's not paying any attention to. And they may be facing the wrath of God pretty soon. And because, China and Russia now are teaming up, and they're telling Israel, hey, look, if you nuke anybody, we will nuke you. Simple as that. I played the clip yesterday. But anyway, here is an outline of the ceasefire deal with Iran. And I've got it from a couple of different sources. Fox News reported the same thing. But here's an Iranian woman that is basically going through the different points of the ceasefire agreement. Give a listen to this.
Donald Trump retreated. Iran called his bluff, and he was forced to accept a 2-week ceasefire deal. Iran confirms that the U.S. was forced to accept a 10-point plan leading to a 2-week ceasefire with the Israeli occupation state included.
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second because just before I went on the air here, I saw Pete Hegseth declaring victory. We've achieved all of our goals, and we did this and we did that, and we just, we made Iran bow down to us. I mean, he's lying through his teeth. And this whole, rescue operation we're hearing about did not go the way they're telling you on the mainstream networks. Not at all. It was a complete and utter disaster for our military. At least that's the reports that I'm seeing here online, outside of the confines of the manipulated mainstream media. Anyway, I'm going to let her continue.
Because Iran is the only one out here actually practicing diplomacy.
True that.
The last-minute negotiations were mediated by Pakistan and are seen as a major victory for Iran. The Iranian Supreme National Security Council said the U.S. suffered an undeniable, historic, and crushing defeat. Mm-hmm. Additionally, their statement reported that Donald Trump accepted the enrichment of uranium, lifting of all primary and secondary sanctions, paying compensation to Iran, withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from the region, and cessation of war on all fronts, including Lebanon. Now, Donald Trump issued his own statement just before the 8 p.m. deadline via his Truth Social, saying, "The pause in Iran is tied to agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz." He also claims the U.S. already met and exceeded all military objectives. Oh. But analysts are saying Trump didn't have any good options but to take the ceasefire deal. He was backed into a corner. His hand was forced because there were no winning options on the table for the U.S. He talked a big game about escalatory steps, but everybody in the region knows that if you go after Iran's energy infrastructure and power plants, it will do the same thing to the entire Gulf, which would result in a worse energy crisis than we have now, something Donald Trump wouldn't be able to sustain. It would destroy his presidency. As of now, Israel has not issued an official response, but it appears the Israelis are going to begrudgingly accept and go along with the proposal. So for all of Donald Trump and Israel's posturing about this war and escalatory attacks, Iran is the one who came out on top.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, now some would say, oh, well, that girl is from Iran, and she's not going to tell you the truth. Well, Fox News, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, is this it? No, that's not it. It's coming. I got a bunch of stuff here I want to get to. Where's the Fox News report? Okay. There, is this it? Okay. Yeah, I believe this is it. Okay, let's see if this is the right clip. I got so many tabs open here.
Issued a truth social from the White House saying this: based on conversations with Prime Minister Sharif and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as President and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Again, just seconds ago, before the deadline for attacks on Iran tonight, and it seems like a deal is in the making. There had been talk, Mark, all day long about maybe this was happening.
Okay, that's Fox News talking about, of course, the agreement that was made just minutes before the 8 o'clock deadline last night. However, Scott Ritter, was talking with Judge Napolitano, and he had this to offer. And like I said, this whole rescue operation for the F-15 pilot, okay, the story that you're getting from the mainstream networks ain't even close to what happened. And at least that's the reports that we're getting from different sources. Anyway, here's Scott Ritter with Judge Napolitano.
Told him a lemon is his Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Look, when this thing settles down, heads will roll. And I think Pete Hegseth's head will be one of those that is going to roll. His incompetence is manifest. The generals advised against this, and Hegseth said, let's do it. I can do this. Don't worry, boss. I got this. We got this. And he might have prayed and he might have said things that had a lot of lethality and other terminology in there. But the reality is Pete Hegseth is incompetent, and his incompetence was, shown to be manifest in our failure to accomplish any of our military. We accomplished 0 military objectives in this campaign.
Right.
People need
that's the exact opposite of what Pete Hegseth has been saying.
to reflect on that. We accomplished 0 military objectives.
Interesting. 0. Okay, so you're getting diametrically opposed views about what this is all about. Now, the reports have also been made that when the negotiations were going on between the U.S. and Iran, they were having Pakistanis as mediators. And the reports are going around, I'm going to see if I can't find it, that Israel wanted to kill the mediators. They wanted to get rid of the Pakistanis. They're doing everything that they can to prevent peace from breaking out in the Middle East. So anyway, but that's their modus operandi. Anyway, Joe Kent issued an emergency message that Israel will attempt to sabotage the ceasefire deal, which is what I was just mentioning. Here's Joe Kent on the subject.
Great news this evening that there's been a 2-week ceasefire agreed upon tentatively between us and the Iranians. It's unconfirmed yet if the Iranians have accepted this deal as well, but I hope that they have. It's absolutely essential that we ensure that the Israelis do not sabotage this 2-week ceasefire or eventually the lasting peace that we're trying to achieve with the Iranians. We're on the cusp of being able to have the Strait of Hormuz reopened to hopefully start to get the world energy supply and commerce back online. The last thing we need is the Israelis doing what they have done in past negotiations and targeting the negotiators or taking a series of strikes that escalates the conflict. In order to ensure that we can restrain the Israelis, we actually have to start removing features of the military support that we we give to them. We have to take away enough from them that they simply cannot go on the offense, that they're using all their military capabilities that we provide for them and that they have organically for the defense of their country and not for offensive operations inside of Iran. It's absolutely critical that we take this step and don't just take Israel's word for it, that they agree to this ceasefire simply because they have a very bad track record of adhering to these deals. We also have to keep in mind that Israel has a different strategic outcome than we do. Us working towards any kind of a deal with the Iranian government works against the Israeli strategic objectives of toppling this government completely and totally. We have to recognize that in order to properly address Israel, because Israel could spoil any peace that President Trump is working to achieve. So we have to keep that in mind. It's very good news we took this ceasefire. We have to understand that there is no military solution to the conflict right now. Basically, every action militarily that we've taken has only strengthened the regime, and it's done a lot to destabilize the entire region and to take away the security and safety of the free commerce of all of the energy and oil and natural gas that flows out of the region through the Strait of Hormuz. So we have to keep our main objective in mind. It's getting that lasting peace, and we will be the more powerful nation for providing that lasting peace and stability. We will not gain a more powerful position by continuing to escalate the conflict or continuing to strike Iran. In order for us to achieve this goal that we have of bringing about a lasting peace, keeping the Strait of Hormuz open, we have to restrain the Israelis. We have to keep that in mind. So
right.
I continue to pray for peace, pray for President Trump, pray for him to have clarity, pray for successful peace negotiations, pray for our men and women downrange in harm's way. Thank you. God bless.
Okay, so the key phrase there is that we have to restrain Israel. I mean, Israel is just, all they know is bomb everybody. That's basically it. Now, getting back to this issue about whether this was a rescue mission to get the F-15 pilot, or was this a mission to basically obtain the uranium? They were going to heist the uranium. Now, Ben Swann put out a report, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but the first part of it, you'll get the general gist of it. I mean, I'm not going to play the whole 7-minute clip, but here's the beginning part of it. Give a listen to this.
The story surrounding the U.S. rescue of a downed pilot in Iran, because the more we learn about this story, the more it is clearly not the full story. The Pentagon and President Trump have insisted that this was a huge success, a daring rescue operation. But the more details we uncover, the more it appears that there was actually intended to be much more happening than what actually took place, and that it wasn't as clean as the administration's making it out to be. So let's break some of this down for you. So on Friday, a U.S. F-15E was shot down over Iran, right? You know that part by now. This just days after President Trump said Iran's air defenses were completely annihilated. The pilot ejects, somehow survives, and by Saturday, a full search and rescue operation is underway. And this is where things start to get maybe almost hard to believe. We're told that the pilot had a sprained ankle. He hiked about 5 miles, though President Trump said he was bleeding profusely as this happened. He then managed to get to a rocky cliff area and climb about 7,000 feet up into a ridge where he was able to hide for hours. Again, all of this happening in a very short span of time. At the same time it's happening, U.S. drones are reportedly striking anything that comes within 3 kilometers of his position. And then the U.S. launches a massive recovery mission. Hundreds of special operators right near one of Iran's most important nuclear sites. Those operators seize an abandoned airfield 200 miles inside of Iran, and then they bring in at least 2 C-130s to extract that pilot. On Sunday, we get the resolution. We're told the mission was a success. The pilot is now safe and sound. And somehow, no one is killed or even injured.
Right.
But at the same time, video starts surfacing, and you can see some of it here. It shows something very different, at least a story that doesn't quite add up. Wreckage scattered across the ground, multiple aircraft destroyed, about $480 million worth, including what appears to be 2 different C-130s and 2 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters. So right away, the official story, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it does not feel right. Absolutely it doesn't. Well, you're going to have to do a little bit of digging, and if you're curious and if you're on your computer, you can go to X, which is where I post a lot of my stuff. Just go to Dave vonKleist, the WTF reports, and I've got all that stuff sourced for you right there. So anyway, Ben Swan is reporting, and many others, that this operation in Iran was a complete and utter disaster, that it was basically a trap set by the Iranians. And we lost a lot of stuff and obviously a bunch of personnel. So, of course, the media is not telling you about that. They're just saying, oh, we went in there, we rescued the pilot. Okay? I'm telling you, they're lying through their teeth about everything. And at least they're consistent about it. There's a woman that posted a bit of a synopsis of our military endeavors over the past several decades, and she's not wrong. She's not wrong. The Western world is lying about everything.
For everyone genuinely believing Western media propaganda about what's going on in Iran, they lied to you about Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin incident used to justify war. They lied to you about South Africa by supporting apartheid for years and calling it stability. They lied about Kuwait with false testimony to sell the Gulf War.
Right, that was the incubator baby story by Naira. Turned out that she was the daughter of the ambassador to Kuwait. Yeah, more lies.
They lied about Iraq. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, remember WMD and remember GW out there saying, well, we were looking for the W. Hey, know what WMD here? And where is it over there? No WMD over there. Yeah, media lies. They get America to get all fired up to support some military action, and off we go.
They lied about Afghanistan. Internal documents, which you can access yourself, showed officials knew the war was not winnable. That progress was being exaggerated to the public for years. We struggled in Afghanistan. They lied to you about Colombia under the guise of war on drugs while fueling violence against Colombians. They lied about Venezuela through sanctions and narratives around intervention. They lied about Libya, claiming it was about protecting civilians, and it turns into a regime change. They lied to you about Syria, constantly shifting narratives around who we were actually supporting. They lied to you about Yemen while backing a humanitarian crisis. They lied about the DRC, ignoring and enabling exploitation and genocide tied to resources. They lied about Sudan, downplaying involvement and strategic interests. They lied to you about Palestine, framing occupation and violence as self-defense. What on earth makes you think they are telling you the truth about Iran? The United States loves to talk about how Iran can't have weapons, but who gave them to them?
Yeah, right.
You ever heard of the Iran-Contra affair in the 1980s? The United States secretly sold weapons to Iran, even though we publicly considered Iran an enemy, and we had an arms embargo in place. They were not supposed to have weapons, and then they took the money they got from selling those weapons and illegally funded a war in Nicaragua behind the Congress and the public's back. Became one of the biggest scandals in political history, triggered congressional investigations, led to indictments, convictions of multiple officials. No? And all while this is even still happening, Iran was still treated like an enemy publicly. So if that happened then, what makes you think everything happening now is being fully told to you? Open your eyes.
Open your eyes, she says, yeah. And it's funny because I remember Charlie Kirk. I should have thought about that before I went on the air, where he was talking about how the government had lied about this, they lied about that, they lied about this, lied about that, they lied about this, they lied about that. Oh, but we're supposed to trust you on this issue. That's maybe one of the reasons why Charlie's no longer with us anymore. But yeah, they're lying about everything. Now there's a lot of folks that are questioning this whole Artemis 2, a moonshot. And I have some questions as well, having taken a good hard look at some of the videos that they've sent back, and some of them just don't make sense. You could see the CGI. You can see that there was one shot that I saw yesterday where they were supposedly going around the dark side of the moon. So if you're on the dark side of the moon, that means the sun's not hitting it. That's why it's dark. And yet the outside of the space capsule is clearly in the sunlight. How does that make sense? I didn't get that. No. And then there was this particular video clip. Listen to, these are the astronauts on the Artemis 2. Listen carefully to what they say. And I don't mean to be jumping in and out of context here, but I'm just pointing out how many times you are being lied to, and it's understandable why we don't really have a clear picture about what's going on in this world, because they're lying about everything. Here's a quick audio from the crew on the Artemis 2.
And in school, I was just like you, probably all of you there. I tried my best. I didn't always succeed, didn't always do well, but I put my best effort into school. Math and science were kind of my favorite subject. I didn't really like English in reading too much, but I've since grown out of that, and I enjoy reading now. And I played a lot of sports. And all of that happened in a little town called York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now.
What did you hear that? York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now. Listen again.
All of that happened in a little town called York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now.
From where we're talking to you right now. Was that a little slip? Was that a mistake? I don't know, folks. All I know is that, I too feel like I'm standing up in a hammock with roller skates on, juggling chainsaws. Because, all I want is the truth. Yeah, why can't we get the truth? Why can't we get it? What's the deal? I mean, this is just insane. Just insane. Let me see here. There was something else I wanted to get to. I'm going to change gears in a little bit. I'll tell you what, let me get myself sorted out. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And as always, you can get more tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page. It'll take you down to an area where you can click on the Get More Tank window, and you can read all about the specifications and details about why this fuel catalyst works so well in your vehicle. That's right, it's a catalyst, not an additive. And the big difference is that the catalyst makes your fuel burn differently. Yeah, it's more efficient, it gives you more power, and your engine runs cleaner. And the payback is that after a few tanks, your engine adjusts and you start getting better mileage, anywhere between 15 and 20% better mileage, depending upon your make, model, year of vehicle and your driving habits, of course. But the bottom line here is once you get up to that area, if you're getting 20% better mileage and you buy Get More Tank for $20, you get 5 tablets. Let me see, 20% divided by 5. Yeah, that means the 5th tank is free. Do the math. You spend $20, use Get More Tank, and by the time you get to your 5th tank, it's free. So I don't know why you're not even considering using Get More Tank. With the price of fuel being what it is, it's a no-brainer, folks. So go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Don't forget the THE, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and get more tank. All right, 34 minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in. And if you're as confused about the world events as I am, I'd love to hear from you. 215-867-8255. Again, 215-867-8255. Now, in the meantime, I want to play for you a video that apparently has been taken down from many different social media platforms. And for the life of me, I'm trying to figure out why. But I listened to this particular woman, and she is an Iranian, and she put out this very interesting parable. And I think that she was speaking cryptically and basically reversing roles. Listen to what she has to say, and then maybe we can clarify after you hear this clip. Here she is.
Imagine a stranger knocks on your door one day and says, I'm a messenger of God. I've brought the message of peace and prosperity. I have no food and no shelter. Can you please let me in? And you let the stranger in out of the goodness of your heart. Then the stranger turns on you because you don't practice your faith the way he does. He rapes your daughter, sodomizes and kills your son, kills your husband, destroys your home and everything you've ever loved and believed in, and then kicks you out of your home. Except that this is not just a story. This is what has happened to Iranians for 47 years.
Ooh, is she talking about Iranians or maybe some other group of people that have been oppressed for 47 years? Do the math.
If you think that what the U.S. is doing is waging war on Iran, you are sadly mistaken, because all they're doing is breaking us free from this decadent, evil regime that hides behind religion. This stranger has already knocked on your door.
Yeah.
He's probably already sitting in your living room. If you don't wake up, your family, your loved ones, your country, your culture, everything you've ever loved and believed in will go through the same exact scenario as we did.
Interesting.
It's time to wake up.
Yes, it is. Very interesting. So she was drawing a parable or a parallel, and she was talking about the Iranians being oppressed. But I don't think she meant the Iranians. I think she had to speak cryptically, because the scenario that she described perfectly what Palestinians have been going through since 1948. Interesting. So, okay, in other news, switching gears again, let's see, how many lies are we getting fed every single day? I don't know. I don't think I can count that high. Of course, all this stuff is happening with the extraterrestrial disclosure, with the hybrid disclosure. And, I mean, when you've got Lauren Boebert and Anna Paulina Luna, and you've got Matt Getz, and you've got Tim Burchett, and many other members in government, in Congress, talking about this. And then, of course, the mainstream media is just now starting to scratch the surface. I've been following Dr. Stephen Greer ever since before the 9/11 attacks. I remind you, I don't know, maybe you don't recall or you don't know, but in May of 2001, Dr. Stephen Greer held a press conference in Washington and brought 22 military and government officials from all over the world. And they were all screaming about extraterrestrials being real. And it was the most widely watched news conference on C-SPAN in history. So it was starting to come out in May, and the ball started rolling down the mountain, gathering steam, et cetera, and then something happened to derail the effort for disclosure. Of course, maybe or maybe not, it was the September 11th attacks. I don't know. But Stephen Greer was recently on Newsmax, and he had this to say.
The things that I've seen would keep you up at night. You texted me right after the show that night, Dr. Greer. Right. Do you know what he's talking about, like, specifically?
Yeah, he's referring to what Tim Burchett said. Tim Burchett had said that he'd seen things that would keep you up at night. Anyway, here's Stephen Greer's response.
I do. So for a number of decades, we have used the retrieved non-human bodies, biologicals are called, and created creatures that are part human, part not human, and very advanced biomedical research. And I've known about this since the 90s, and these have been used in covert operations, like the CIA document we have that admits they were using this sort of tech as well as the man-made UFOs to stage and hoax alien abductions and all manner of nonsense. The problem is it sounds like a science fiction movie, but it's been part of a larger multi-decade psychological warfare operation, partly run out of a division of the CIA and some out of other special operations and attached to the aerospace industry giants. But yes, we know details of that. We know where these weird experiments are going on, and I've handed that off to certain people in the national security structure and to certain members of Congress, as well as the names of whistleblowers who have been involved.
Okay, let me hold on. So, Okay, so there's a breeding program. Matt Gaetz said that. Tim Burchett didn't deny that. You're confirming that. Are there female volunteers that are taking part in this program? Like, how does that work?
No, there are no. The human subjects are ones who have been captured in distressed areas and used for human experimentation. It's similar to what one of our whistleblowers admitted to, last year when he said that.
Do you know, Dr. Greer, why would we do this? Like, who would want to do that?
They would do it to try to create diversions and make people think that there's a threat from outer space when there isn't one, and also to confuse and cover up illegally run covert programs and say the aliens are doing it. It's a classic diversion and deception operation.
Deception. Where have we heard that word before?
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually, those are the three tools that they use to promote their deception. Of course, the Mossad and IDF has their motto, by means of deception, thou shalt make war. Well, we're dealing with an information war right now, and there's a lot of deception out there. And like I said on the outset on this broadcast, I don't know what the truth is. I just want to find out what is honest, what is not. And a lot of folks are saying, on one hand, they're condemning Trump for what he did and what he's doing and his flip-flopping from 10 years ago. And I'm inclined to agree with those who are condemning him for basically flip-flopping. Okay? However, there are others that are saying that, this is a very, very diabolical plan to disrupt and dethrone the deep state movers, shakers, and policymakers. So is Trump working on a long-term diabolical plan to basically eliminate the deep state, not just in this country, but the global cabal? Now, for those of you who don't know, you might want to check out, there's a documentary film, a series actually, called The Fall of the Cabal. It was put out by Janet Osabard, who has, in the past, 2 years ago, I guess, she quote-unquote unalived herself. And anyway, you might want to check that series out. You can look it up. It's called The Fall of the Cabal. And you can find it on the website stopworldcontrol.com. Anyway, I digress. I want to share with you this report from GB News. This is from Great Britain News. And this is an analysis that some people might cock their head to one side and say, wait a second, maybe, just maybe, there is a method to the madness. And again, I'm just trying to sort this stuff out. I'm throwing it out there for your perusal and for your observation, and so you can build, an informed decision. And anyway, okay, here is GB News, and this was, I guess this was posted last night. Here it is.
Here's the truth about this war that nobody wants to tell you. It isn't about toppling Iran's regime before you ask. It's about reshaping the global world order. And I think that's happening right now. And I want to tell you how Britain is staring down the barrel of a dark age we haven't seen for over 1,000 years. This all comes, of course, as President Trump says Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran if the key shipping lane in the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened. Of course, lots of expletives there we have blurred out for you. But this is bigger than a headline or a Truth Social post in this war, and the evidence is not actually being kept from us. We're just blind to seeing it because nobody's talking about it. America has made no secret of its new doctrine. It is stepping back from being the world's police and repositioning itself as a powerful, self-reliant fortress.
That is why President Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America to the Panama Canal and its surrounding countries. At the Department of War, we call this strategic map the Greater North America.
Interesting stuff, isn't it? So what does America actually gain from this war before we get on to the Greater North America? Well, let's look at a map here, shall we?
I forgot to turn on my microphone. I just wanted to pause that momentarily. You just heard him talking about the Greater North America. Well, Didn't Bibi Netanyahu hold up a map at the UN for the greater Israel and what was required for him to accomplish that particular goal? So again, is this a mission of conquest, or is this a plan to basically unite the entire North American and Central American continent? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll bring this up for you. The Strait of Hormuz, you can see there, is one of the most critical energy choke points on this planet. It is also a whopping 45% of China's oil flowing through it. That is a lot of oil that China needs. But it isn't just Iran. Cast your minds back to January this year, where Trump effectively has now captured Venezuela and declared its oil is under their control. And if you have a look at this graph, who there in the red relies heavily on that oil? Well, it looks like China to me. Now consider the impeccable timing of all of this since January. America is right in the middle of a tariff and trade negotiation with the very stubborn and very powerful, might I add, Chinese government, who are not budging on Donald Trump's arrangements here. Well, look who's got the upper hand all of a sudden. It's America. They are now controlling the vast swathes of oil that China needs. That puts them in a very strong position going forward on these tariff agreements. And Europe is also getting hit hard a lot with this. With Russian energy totally off the table and domestic energy security weakened by this leftist obsession with net zero, Europe is becoming increasingly dependent on external oil supply and energy supply. And that puts America, again, in a very strong position, because we will soon be wholly dependent on American supplies of oil and gas. They will dictate terms and use energy as leverage, not just economically, but geopolitically too. And what do we know that they really want? Greenland. They want Greenland. They've made that very clear, and they didn't get it yet. So the longer this war drags on, the more dependent the world is becoming on the USA. And it's not accidental. What we're seeing is the emergence of what you heard from Pete Hegseth there, the Secretary of State for War, and described by Donald Trump as the Greater North America. It is stretching from Greenland down through the Panama Canal, securing the entire hemisphere as a self-sufficient economic and security zone for the United States of America. But guess who's not on there? Europe. We are not part of America's future plans as it withdraws from the world. And it isn't just a coincidence that the United Kingdom has been targeted the most by Trump and America of late. The UK is internationally renowned for its special relationship with America. Trump is signalling that that relationship is over, not just to us, but to everyone else around us. And frankly, Keir Starmer gave him ample reason to do so, of course. But also because Trump can now point to our allies and say, you all let us down. And in his own words, as he said, we won't forget it. It is the perfect reason for America to withdraw from the global stage. So no more global policing, no more endless foreign commitments, just a fortified, resource-rich power base that others have no choice but to rely on. That is the new America. And that brings us to Britain, because the consequences for us will be catastrophic. Right now, we are dangerously exposed. We have no energy security. We import around 60% of our food. We have no major industry. Our military is decimated, as we're hearing time and time again. And politically, we are deeply fractured now. Even culturally, we are crumbling at the seams, dominated by global political issues like Gaza, climate fanaticism, and movements like BLM that, frankly, have nothing to do with the state of play in Britain. The things that once united us, our faith and our national identity, are now pulling us apart due to years of left-wing globalism.
Wow.
Unless we act quickly and decisively, Britain risks entering a dark age as America retreats, one that we haven't seen for over 1,000 years.
Interesting. Very interesting take on what's going on. And I have to admit, this take is echoed by Susan Kakinda on the Prometheus Project. And if you've been following her along, you know, they're all saying that Trump is executing an absolutely masterful plan for taking down the control that the United States has been under from the British Crown and the Bank of England. So maybe this is all, you know, a planned takedown. I don't know. That's why I'm saying, you know, is this has he got everybody fooled here? I don't know. Because it is, again, this is a fascinating time to be alive. It really is. So are we on the precipice right now of taking down the global control of those 13 families that have basically been, you know, controlling the monetary system of the entire West for generations and generations and generations and millennia? I don't know. I'm just trying to sort this whole thing out and throw out as much information as I can so you can figure it out. And if you've got any ideas, you know, please give me a call, 215-867-8255. Is Trump just a big buffoon? Is he lost his mind? Has he gone crazy? Or is he playing this, you know, falling on his own sword in the public view so he can accomplish another goal that's greater and beyond our purview? I don't know. Okay, let me switch gears a little bit. Here's Kim Iverson, and she's saying that things are just not normal, and I would be inclined to agree with her.
I want to walk through something with you, because what's happening right now is so extreme, so outside the bounds of what we should consider normal, that I think most people are almost not processing it. This isn't just another headline. This isn't just another foreign policy debate. This is potentially one of the most consequential moments of our lifetime. The United States President Donald Trump posted, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again." A civilization, not a military target, not a specific regime, not a tactical objective, a civilization, one of the oldest continuous civilizations on Earth. This is a society that predates most of what we consider Western civilization. What is being discussed here openly is not just war, it's erasure of a people, a genocide. We're seeing reports of civilians in Iran forming human chains around energy infrastructure. Regular people, young people, putting their bodies in front of potential targets because they believe the United States is still moral enough to not hit them if they're there. That's what they believe about us. At the same time, in Israel, a major network, Channel 13, is reportedly running a countdown clock tied to Trump's 8 p.m. deadline. A countdown clock, like it's a New Year's Eve celebration. Okay,
I'm going to pause this for a second because she posted this yesterday before the end of the deadline. So, and yes, I saw that. Israel did have a countdown clock. It was like, you know, they were waiting for the launch of some rocket or something like that. They were all excited about it. Anyway, let her continue.
Waiting to celebrate the annihilation of an entire people. We've entered a moment where the possibility of a genocidal act is being treated like a celebratory event. So which group are the good guys?
That's a good question. Who are the good guys? You know? It's hard to know. It's very hard to know. I had a statement here. I can't seem to locate it at the moment, but there was one of the cabinet members in the Israeli Knesset basically was just taking Netanyahu over the coals. I don't know. It was all in their native tongue, and of course I'd have to translate it here. They did have the subtitles there, but I can't seem to find it right now. So anyway, let's see. Well, let me see. There was something else I was going to get to here. Where is it? Okay. I got so many tabs open. I got to click this one. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay. You got to listen to this. This is a song that was the Iranian women put together. And basically, you talk about a strong spirit. I mean, I wish I could see, you know, this patriotic spirit here in this country, because we sure as heck don't have it. But the Iranians do, and they have resolve. They have the courage that, unfortunately, most Americans don't have. Give a listen to this song.
Keep your bombs to yourself. Stay away from our land. This is our homeland, and our freedom belongs in our own hands. We don't want your democratic bombs. Take
Get out. Wow. It gets me choked up to see that kind of spirit. Take your filth, take all your stuff. Hey, Israel, go to Hades. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I don't blame them. And I got to remind you folks, I don't care what your religion is. I don't care if you're Christian or Jew or Muslim or Buddhist or Hindu. I don't care if you're white or if you're black or if you're yellow, you're red. I don't care what your ethnic heritage is. I don't care what language you speak. We are all human beings. Every single one of us. We bleed the same red blood. We breathe the same air. We all want the same things for ourselves and our families. We want food, shelter, clothing, and love. And as far as I'm concerned, love should be at the top of that list. And when are we all going to realize that we are just floating through the void on this little blue speck in the cosmos? And, I can't help but think of, oh, God, what was his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know what it's going to take for humanity to wake up and understand that, yes, we are all connected. And when you hurt someone else, you hurt yourself. We are all one. And this whole concept of countries and borders, and Dave, come on, you're getting really, out there, utopia, idealism and all that. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I mean, I don't know. I wish I had that clip from John Lennon. What was it, 45 years ago, something like that, when he was saying, hey, look I want to know what these leaders are doing. I think that they're insane. Tell me what exactly that you're trying to accomplish with your borders and your lust for power and control and all this. What do you want? What do you want? What it comes down to, like I said, food, shelter, clothing, and love, that's what humanity wants. And if we would all just realize that we're all in the same boat, maybe we'd stop fighting against each other. Oh, Dave, you're an idealist. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway. Oh, well, just trying to make my way through another day of the clown world we're living in. And I certainly hope that this ceasefire will hold, but something's telling me that there's something else that's coming down the road. Maybe it's Operation Bluebeam, and maybe there will be some sort of nuclear exchange, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think E.T. would want that. Anyway, that said, it's going to wrap it up for the Wednesday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and if you're enjoying the broadcast, please click like, share, subscribe, and spread the word via word of mouth. I'm on BitChute, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all of the above. So, and do business with our advertisers. Yeah, try to keep the lights on here. That said, we're flat out of time. I'll be back again tomorrow. Maybe. God willing, maybe. And until then, stay safe, stay free. God bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.